Hey guys, what's up? Andrew from American Musical Supply here at Winter NAMM 2020. It's day 2. I'm in the Fender booth with Rick. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. How's the show going for you so far?
It's going great. We're day 2. Things just are starting to ramp up now. So yeah, I mean, tons of people in the booth. I can't complain.
Awesome. Well, you're going to tell us about some new amplifiers that have just been released, right?
Absolutely. We've got 4 different amplifiers that are released for NAMM 2020, and we're very excited about them.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what would you like to start with?
Well, I think one of the biggest stories for us right now is the GTX line, the Mustangs. The GTs came out a little over a year ago. We introduced Wi-Fi and Bluetooth with these. They're modeling amplifiers, but they sound great. We were updating them with new amps and effects that you could just download directly from a server on Wi-Fi. You could stream Bluetooth and play along with your favorite tracks. Tons of amp tones, and people really responded to them. But you know, we always want to upgrade, we want to update, we want to keep offering better and better products. So GTX is just take from that. We've changed them cosmetically so they look a little more like our Hot Rod series. People really love that classic look. We listen to our customers when we ask for stuff. We have the 50 and the 100. Both have 12-inch Celestion speakers, 50 watts and 100 watts. But we've also got new amp models as well. So everything that was in there before you have. But with the amp models now we have like classics like a Blues Junior, Vibra King. We've got some high gain stuff, something called an Uber. We got some classic 80 sounding stuff called JC120. Okay. I'll let the people out there, figure out what those are, right? 11 different new effects as well, and we're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep updating as well. Right. But with the new design cabinet and new Celestion speaker in the 100, and then the Celestions in the 50, it just has. There's more low end. There's more. I don't know, it's just a little bit more to the tone, I think, All these will be available to GT owners as well as far as the presets go, but the amp is voiced slightly differently, Right. And then the other great thing about those is we have the new TONE 3.0 right behind me. It has just a bit of a screenshot there. The 3.0 is a really easy, intuitive way to kind of dig deep into the amplifier and get to what you want. So I can go in here off the iPad, I can tweak the amplifier, I can add effects, I can create a set list. So if I'm playing a gig and I need clean and funky and then I go to metal and stuff, it's all right there at your fingertips. Cool. You can use it on any sort of pads or your phone. It'll be Android and and iPhone compatible, and they're just fun. It does come with a 7-button foot switch for the 100, which is expanded upon the previous one. So that means you can access more effects, more presets at one time, but it still has a 60-second looper, and you can turn on/off effects like you would a pedal board.
Very cool. Do they have like a USB audio interface in them too?
Well, they have XLR outs,
okay.
Stereo, so it'll sound great going into your DAW station. Yeah. You also have an effects loop as well, so if you have your favorite pedals and you want to use those, you can do that too.
Cool, right on. Can you give us a little sampling?
Yeah, why don't I go through just a couple of the presets for you? All right.
Oh, that's really cool. And I should mention it's projecting quite a lot of sound, so I think you'd definitely be good with playing with a drummer or a rehearsal situation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think because of the cabinet design, there's a little bit more perceived low end. So especially when I'm doing the chunky stuff, when you're there, you kind of feel it.
Yeah, for sure.
And for an old metal school guy like me, that's kind of part of it, right?
Very cool. Yeah. Awesome. So what about there's the LT50 as well?
Yeah. So the thing about the GTX's 5100 is that they really can be one of those things where you can get in really deep and modify. Yeah. Pre and post effects, you can change the tube bias, you can change the cabinet. With the LT50, we're taking its cues from the LT25. It's still taking all the great stuff out of the GTXs, but what we're doing is we're simplifying it. So someone that maybe is a little tech averse that wants to spin a knob and get kind of like a greatest hits of guitar tones, Very easy to use. It's not about pre or post. It's not about any of that stuff. It isn't Bluetooth. It isn't Wi-Fi. You can record with it via USB, and it does have a tone app that'll work with your computer, so you can modify and store presets. But it's just one of those things, so if someone's just like, look, I don't want to worry about all those screens, you can get in there and get great tones. The 25 already sounded great, so the 50 watts, 12-inch speaker. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit louder. Yeah. And then we have some really cool hidden presets when you use the tone app for the LT50.
Cool.
And I would be remiss if I didn't talk just for a second for the tube guys out there. We've got you covered too. We have a new 64 Custom Princeton. Sounds amazing, hand wired like the originals. Takes 8 times as long just to do that. Wow. But we know players out there really respond to tone and things like that. Those things matter to them. So solid pine cabinet. It's got a Jensen P10 speaker, Alnico. Sounds great. 2-bias tremolo. Crank it up, sounds amazing. Use pedals, it's a perfect pedal platform. You can do just about any gig with that, minus maybe like super heavy music. Right. But I mean, I've seen some really heavy bands using Princetons these days. So
wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thanks for the rundown on these new amplifiers. And if you're interested in checking any of these out, the LT50, wanted to make sure I got it right, the GTX 50 or GTX 100, or even the 1964 Princeton, you can head on over to AmericanMusical.com. Thanks, Rick.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You got it.